Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. It's obviously very late in the day. I didn't have a video for today, so I was just going to leave it. But while we're on the subject, Hannah's down this weekend, so I've got travelling from early Saturday morning till lunchtime, and then it's our time together, so I doubt if I'll be doing any videos. But depending on the weather, we might do some stuff in the garden. There are still some jobs to do out there, tidying up before winter time. So there might be a video to do outside, we shall see. Oh no, it's going to rain. I've had all day to do that. So I can just hear the initial spots, you know, those ones where you think, oh, I think it's going to rain. And you can see cover up there and you think, can I make it in time? And you run like hell, and just before you get to the cover you get absolutely soaked. Maybe. We do have some serious rain coming in tonight and into tomorrow. We shall see. I've heard that before. Anyway, today I had to do some stuff for the Orchid Society as treasurer, because it's money stuff. At our show we had quite a lot of people that came in, non-members, that came into the show and basically did the sort of thing that I do quite frequently. Yeah? They put their hand in their pocket and got their card out. We can't take card payments, we can only do cash. But we don't tell anybody. And therein lies a particular problem, because we've had some people who don't carry cash that have had to walk away. Some of them will go to a nearby ATM and come back because they really want to come to the show, and others just say blow it and walk away. So in the last meeting, last Saturday, we had a discussion about getting a card reader, and we agreed that it's something we could have. I also did a show of hands thing at the meeting to the members and actually said, if we had a card reader, how many people would pay their subscriptions by card? Show of hands. How many people would pay for their Christmas do on a card? Same people put their hands up. Obviously if you want to pay by card, you'd like to do as much as possible with it. Those that don't do that sort of thing aren't going to do any of it. Dinosaurs. But if we get a card reader, it will also do contactless payments. No, you would, wouldn't you? Sorry. Dehumidifiers come on. It's a trifle worrying when you're in a room like this that obviously has a lot of moisture in it with the watering the plants, evaporation from the pots and everything. And the dehumidifier doesn't come on much. But if I open the door to the house, it starts working, which implies there's more humidity in the lounge than there is out here, which is a trifle worrying, because I mean I do have instruments to measure the humidity out here. I mean that one over there currently says it's 90 in here. Well, it's not, so that obviously doesn't read true. I must get my proper meter out. Anyway, so we decided to get a card reader. So I did some research. It's usually me that does that sort of thing. You know, you go on these, you know, best card reader at the moment in the UK, and you get these comparison sites. And we came up with one that sounded a good bet, did all the things that we would need, which isn't much really. We don't need a flashy thing. So we decided to go ahead. So at the meeting, I've got authority to go ahead. And we chose one that had a printer on it, you know, have a little till roll basically, so you can print receipts for people. Although not everybody wants their paper receipt, some people feel comfortable that they've been offered a receipt. Some people are like, you know, like that. I don't normally bother with receipts when I'm offered. Save the planet and all that, you know. So what would I do with it? I bring it home and put it in the bin. So I don't tend to go for receipts. But anyway, so I got on the website of the one that came out the best and simple enough for what we want, because we don't need anything elaborate. And I started looking into it, and I fell at the first hurdle, because you have to have a card reader. Obviously, when somebody pays you something, the money's got to go somewhere. So you have to have an associated bank account. And this particular company, you need a business banking account, and they only accept businesses. And they want your registered business number. Well, we haven't got all that. You know, we're a non-profit organisation, effectively. We're not a business. So I sent out some emails to the two chair people, persons, chairman, mess about. They are chairman, and there's two of them, and one of them is a lady called Lynn. You can get in a muddle here, can't you? Anyway, just to say that that was a no-go, and I'd look into some others. Well, out of the ones that were recommended, I went for the next best option, which was, it was only next best, not because of functionality, but because of price. It was a bit more expensive. And the chair got back to me and basically said, look, we agreed at the meeting that we want one, so just get on with it, basically, and stop bothering me, sort of thing. So anyway, I phoned up, had a list of questions that I wanted. I wanted to know the percentage charge per transaction you've said is the only charges. I want to confirm that there are no charges on the bank account, so that although we get charged a percentage per transaction, when we get into the bank account, like if we're not going to use it as our daily banking, it's a holding bank. So when I want to transfer the money from that bank to our bank, is there a charge there? Is there an admin charge on that bank account? No charges at all, so that was good. But anyway, I had my list of questions, so I phoned up and I got my first contact with AI. To me it was obvious within 3 seconds, literally. But I tell you what, it was very good, because some of the questions that were asked, my answer was not straightforward, and it handled it. It was a relatively pleasant voice, and it handled everything that I said. It didn't come back with, could you repeat? Sorry, I don't understand, any of that nonsense. We had an intelligent conversation. Well, bearing in mind that half of it was mine. And I was quite impressed. I put my phone down, or hung up on the mobile, and thought, well, that wasn't bad. I wonder if all other contacts with AI would be as useful, as easy, and as understandably okay, that you're not stepping back and thinking, hello, I don't trust this, I'm not happy with this, I want to speak to a real person. They're getting thin on the ground, aren't they? That's if you can understand what the hell they say, because they're not from this country. But I was well pleased, and basically I booked an appointment to basically, you know, discuss an actual purchase. And that appointment, I got offered an appointment in 20 minutes. So hang on, I've just phoned them up out of the blue, at random, and I've got an appointment to speak to a person 20 minutes later. Well, okay, they were 10 minutes late phoning me, but I did get a real person. Very good, very helpful, got everything that I wanted sorted out on the phone. I then sort of went through the motions. I got my emails through, confirmation of everything, and went ahead and made the purchase. And then basically set up my login. I had to verify the company's ID, which we're not a company really. They wanted to find out if we had an online presence, which we've got a website. That was good enough. And then they wanted to verify my ID, and this was good as well. So I had to use the app on my mobile phone. Now, I don't do that. I don't use apps on my mobile. That's not what I think the mobile's for. But unfortunately, they haven't got an app that works on my desktop. But it's a standalone unit. I don't need the app. But I did need it to do these verification checks. So basically, I had to get the app off of the app store to get it onto my mobile, and then linking from the emails, having given them my mobile number, it automatically sent me to the verification bit on my mobile. And basically they put up a square on the screen, and I had to hold my driver's license front and get it lined up with that square, and it took a picture, did a big tick, and then said, and now show the back of your driver's license. So I lined it up and it did that, and then I had to prove that I was not a robot or a bot. So basically I had to line my face up in a unit, and then when told to do so, turn my head to the left and then to the right, and I was verified. But it was clever stuff going on here, you know, or I thought it was anyway, probably because I don't use my phone much. Anyway, so that was my first contact with AI. I had a phone call with what you could effectively call a bot. And it was okay. I'm not knocking this. It was okay. It did its job, and it saved a real person doing that function. Now that could be doing somebody out of a job, but it did it very well. And perhaps within that company it meant that the body, the person who would have been doing that job, could have got on with something else, like doing the next stage and phoning me up to discuss the details, which did need a real person. So it could have freed up staff to do other things, but it could have done somebody out of a job. Who knows? Anyway, so this is also a video just to say that the videos are going to be very thin on the ground now. Tomorrow's Friday. I've got to do some watering tomorrow. I may just stick the camera in the corner and waffle away while I'm watering. Some people like that sort of thing. I might do that, but otherwise I doubt if there's much to film out here. No new blooms or anything. And then Saturday, Hannah's down for the weekend. I can't see me filming anything on Saturday, with a possibility of something outside. Sunday again, Hannah's down, and later in the day I've got to take her home again. And we need to spend, she's down here to spend some time with me, not sitting there on her own while I'm mucking about filming out here. So we may not get an actual Sunday chat. It might have to move to Monday, like it does on occasions. I know it doesn't work as well on Monday, I don't get as many views, but that might have to be how it is this time round. We've got a very important job to do when she's down this time. I've got my Christmas home delivery shopping thing sorted out for Christmas. So I'm getting a delivery of food on the 23rd of December. And this weekend we've got to sit down and write down the meals, you know, like breakfast, Christmas Day, what are we going to have? And then put it into that order. Christmas dinner, what are we going to have? What do we need to get in? And so we will go through. The only thing I don't know yet is what we're doing with my son. Are we going round there at any time? It won't be Christmas Day. I've already told him I'm having Christmas Day with Anna. So we might be going round there Christmas Eve, sort of like early evening, or we might be going Boxing Day. These are unknowns. So unfortunately we can't go too mad with the food, but we can do Christmas Day, because that's set. That is us two doing Christmas Day. That's what we do. And we spend most of the time in the kitchen preparing and cooking food, and then a short amount of time eating it. Because that's what Christmas dinner's all about. It's 3 hours preparation, getting all, you know, hyper and everything. Is it going to be okay? You know, especially if you've got a lot of people around. It's a big deal. You know, it's a special meal for an awful lot of people. And if they're all coming to your house, you need to get it right, don't you? And it can be quite a worry, making sure you've got everything, you know, cooking it, and it's all about timing. It all needs to come out of the pots and out of the oven, and you know, all at the same time and all hot, and none of it burnt and none of it undercooked. So it is quite a big deal. But with just the two of us, it's an absolute pleasure. We really enjoy it. So we will have our Christmas breakfast, which usually involves things like smoked salmon. We have Bucks Fizz. I usually get some Prosecco in and some fresh orange juice, and we have that. Hannah doesn't drink much and she doesn't like alcohol to any great extent, and that's a very low volume alcohol. They're only about 6-7%, so and it's half orange juice as well, so we can do that. And then we, once we've had our breakfast and got over it, then we start preparing and getting everything ready to do our Christmas dinner. And that is the only time my oven ever gets used. Once a year my oven gets used, and it's for Christmas dinner, because we'll have pigs in a blanket, we'll have roast potatoes, we'll have honey glazed roast parsnips, we'll have roast carrots, we'll have whatever meat we're going to have. We might actually get a whole chicken this year, because we've had 2 years without chicken. We've had other meats. Last year we had duck and beef, and we had cold beef left over for Boxing Day, when we have what we call a picking tea. So it's we have a cooked breakfast, whatever, but then our afternoon meal is basically different types of cheese, some pate, some cold meats, things like that, and I get some part-baked bread, and we finish cooking that sort of thing, so that we've got like warm, freshly cooked bread to go with that. But we may do things completely different this year. Some things are like traditional, this is what we do, and other times it's nice to do something different now and again. I mean, last year we met up with my son, his wife and my grandson in a cafe on the beach, because they were passing through, and it was the only chance we had to see them. They were on their way down to Cornwall. So basically we met up there and had coffee and a cake. So we actually had to go out on Boxing Day, and that's unusual. And it's unusual to find somewhere open like that on the beach in the middle of winter. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to have a chat, and as I said, videos could be very thin on the ground from now until Monday, and that, as I said in a video earlier, I'm not filming just for the sake of it. This was an AI thing I just wanted to sort of talk about, because it's new to me, unusual, and it worked well, and also discuss what's coming up. But yeah, videos are not there every day by default anymore. That is just not the way it can be, because there isn't enough. There will be times of year when there is no problem doing a video every day, but at this time of year it's very thin on the ground for the actual work that goes on out here. We had a working video earlier in the week, but that was unusual. That's not normal for this time of year. So anyway, that's enough waffling. I'd forgotten I had lights out here. I mean, this camera can film almost in the dark, but with these lights on, there's more than enough light to do a chatty video. I wouldn't want to do a detailed video looking at blooms or anything, but it's all right for this sort of thing. So thanks for dropping by. Thanks for being with the channel in any shape or form. I don't mind how it is. It might be watching the first 10 seconds of the video and leaving. It's something. It's more than nothing. So any help with the channel, any amount of watching the videos, part or all preferably, perhaps watching some adverts as well, and the memberships, thanks for all that. It's all good stuff. And I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Now I can drink some of this instead of just holding it. I have explained why I have a drink in my hand. If you missed that, well, tough. I'm not doing it again. Bye for now.